Hello everyone, welcome back to Dungeon of the Mad Mage. This is session 188. We're gonna have people that are sad that there was no nut button, Zach.
Absolutely nutless.
You're muted. There we go. Damn it, Jay. Yours
Jay gets to
I
cheat
guess
the
it
system.
counts. Yeah, it cheats the system. Yours. Oh no. Oh no.
And
Please.
this is why I have effects muted.
Please take the power away from him. All right. It is session 188. We have been off for 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks? Something like that.
That's right.
Let's jump into things with a little bit of a recap, shall we? Previously, in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, the party found themselves back in Frethian territory. They were greeted by Rilna Freth, who was occupied drilling the Frethian soldiers, but were unable to speak with Erelal and Driven due to an ongoing audience. So they spent their time speaking and delivering goods to the quartermaster and the cooks of Spiderwatch Keep. When they were finally able to speak with the leaders of House Freth, the Great Mother invited them to witness a daily scrying ritual, one that the Frethians had been using to gain information on their enemies, House Ovrendar. The target of the day was to be Chalzana, Blonwelv's advisor, but as the ritual unfolded, though it did view its target, it was the words being spoken on the periphery that were important. Words that seemed to be encouraging an alliance between House Ovrendar and some other faction. Accented words that referenced a country from a far-off world. Words spoken by a voice Matashtai recognized. His friend, Darren Tash, was alive, and apparently trying to coordinate an alliance between House Ovrendar and some other force. As the scrying ended, the monk practically begged Erelal to try scrying again, but this time on his missing friend. And though the Great Mother acquiesced, the spell was unable to hone in on its target. One more mystery to untangle. Discussion turned then to the pressing matter at hand, war with House Ovrendar, which seemed more pressing than ever as this possibility of an alliance had been revealed. But in order to march against their foe, at least with some degree of success, House Freth needed the party to clear the way. Multiple concerns came to light. The Zazana, a group of minotaurs on the 12th level that would undoubtedly harry the Frethian army on its march. The Nahastu, a tribe of troglodytes on the 11th floor, posed a potentially similar threat as House Ovrendar had been busy enslaving them, and they now saw all drow as enemies. The 11th floor also played host to seemingly endless trolls and a foul Behir known as Mapemi, the Rune Serpent. These threats would also likely weaken the Frethian army on its march if they were not dealt with. And these weren't the only threats to consider, at least not from the simplest approach. If the Allied forces wanted to strike House Ovrendar's northern territory and occupy some of its forces there, it would need to deal with Muriel the Misshapen, one of Halaster's 7, or else risk his interference. Not all of the threats needed to be dealt with, and in fact, the longer the party took, the more likely House Ovrendar would discover something was amiss and either shore up its defenses or find allies. But the Frethians were not without suggestions or aid. Driven had concocted a plan with which to kill two birds with one stone. The rule of the Zazana could be usurped by a powerful minion of the Horned King, one that Driven could summon and control using the heart of a great creature. If the party could slay Mapemi and return with its heart, House Freth might then be able to control the Zazana. But it was not a control that would last indefinitely. Zazana would need to be used. then their power shattered. This didn't sit well with certain members of the party, nor truly with the rulers of House Freth, though Driven was willing to do what he thought was necessary. Instead, Erelal proffered an alternate plan, or rather an idea that could potentially develop into a plan. House Freth held a prisoner, a white-furred minotaur whose horns had been sawed off, and who had seemingly been banished and cursed. Erelal had tried to touch the bull's mind, but to no avail. The Great Mother thought perhaps only a person of great import would have something like this done to them. If the party could find a way to remove this creature's curse, they might have an ally and a potential alternate method of dealing with the Zazana. So the group decided to meet with this individual, and were escorted to a storage building turned prison cell. The white-furred bull was mad with rage, sleepless, constantly seeking to kill everything in sight, and so had been chained, magically bound within. Matashtai sought the creature's mind, and was strongly rebuffed. A foul and unimaginably powerful presence had claimed this creature. But the Halaster would not relent easily. With Valina's aid, he pushed again and again, each time being rebuffed psychically, until the monk's eyes, nose, and ears streamed blood. And still he would not relent, for he felt the presence of something trapped within that creature's mind. And eventually, Matashtai connected to that presence. His name was Prush, and he had sought to lead the Zazana on a different path, a path of peace. But he had been duped and cursed, and the key to that curse now lay within the pit of sacrifice, within the heart of Zazana's territory. The party reconvened with the leaders of House Freth. They had a goal now, or at least a desire, to free Prush of his curse and see what might come of doing so. Driven, at first, was frustrated at what he felt was a risk to everything that was being worked toward. But the Archmage relented, and seemingly finally bought into the idea that House Freth's survival was all in on the backs of its new allies. The party now rests to recover from Matashtai's ordeal and to allow the Frethians time to prepare a distraction before the party heads into the beast's den on the whim of saving one man. And that is where we fade back into our scene.
On the whim of saving one man.
Not bad. Okay, so in the moments after this final piece of discussion, you all are escorted back to Driven's study in a basically in an effort to show you privacy and give you the ability to recuperate while preparations are being made for you, or being made to potentially aid you. Does anyone want to do anything or say anything, or is there anything going on?
So, yes and no. No, because I'm not going to do this, but yes, because I just want to mention that I haven't forgot about it. I know that there was a drow. Hold on, I gotta get down here. By the name of... Was it, Laxadoral that would entertain the idea of a duel?
A duel? Ah.
Yeah, he's, I spoke to him earlier about Borden, and he said that he actually dueled him at one point, and I was curious.
So, Laxdoral is actually one of the Frethian alchemists that did have a little bit of time spent with Borden. You are thinking of Zaftal, which is
Zaftal, okay,
one of the sons of Errol Freth.
I knew it was one of those two.
Yeah.
I made a 50-50 guess. I was wrong.
Yeah, and
I put it wrong in my notes. I was like, oh shit.
He and
Better
when,
fix it.
when you had asked about Borden on your prior stay here, it had been mentioned that Zaftal and Laxdoral had spent the most time with him, and that if you were seeking information from him or about him, those two would be the most likely candidates to know something. And Zaftal had kind of like briefly spoken to you about him and, told you where he had gone, though he didn't really know his intentions. And he had mentioned that he had dueled, or sparred with, not dueled, Borden, and been very impressed, basically.
Right. He also led on that he wasn't super thrilled about the idea of being. I got the impression that it was being used as a metric of strength.
Well,
But like, I feel like I bring that up because that's something I do want to like look into, but I don't feel like now's the best time, considering we're about to maybe do something that might require the resources necessary that.
What do you mean?
That
Zach's
would
just gonna go in and grab the key and
do whatever you want to do.
Walk in. Just walk in. You just go get it.
I'm not walking into the pit of sacrifice by myself. That's you go in there and 1800 skeletal minotaur rise up out of the pit and just eat someone.
you got Mossy.
Oh, come on, that's just what the kids are calling it. The pit of,
being a very
pit of
cowardly
sacrifice.
cat,
They think
right?
it's all cool. It's actually just called
Sacrifice.
the pit of the keys for
It's-
anybody to come
It's
take.
the pit of cotton candy, but also it's that one pit and saw with all the used needles.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
Nope. Why did we go there?
You all hear this kind of like rapping at the door.
Hey,
Oh, come in!
Door clicks, opens, and you see entering in is Driven Breath, who kind of like just looks at you all.
Yo, D-Man, what's up?
He kind of nods to
D-Man.
you, and he just
man.
he says, "I was just giving you a moment in case you were discussing anything of import. I have business to attend to." And he just kind of like points into the room and kind of like looks at all of you and then walks forward 5 steps, and there's like this tear that appears in the air. And he just doesn't stop, walks through, and the tear just like zips up behind him.
Neat. How do you do that? Ezra, can we do that?
No.
Oh. Well, that's disappointing.
Just no.
Do I
That's pretty cool.
recognize the
Roll an
arcane
Arcana.
nature of?
Roll an
okay.
Arcana check for me. 16. I mean, yes and no. Obviously, there's something spatial going on there, but you don't
Right.
fucking
Extra dimensional of
know
some nature.
what. Yeah, like you know that teleportation is finicky in Undermountain, so.
Sure.
But short range teleportation isn't, right? So it could be like a static effect that just takes him somewhere nearby, or it could be an extra dimensional tear, or who the fuck knows. But now that you're kind of like aware of it, you can see this kind of like hovering arcane residue just in the center of the room.
Do I think this is? Because I'm starting to prepare my well, okay, it's not this level, but next level I'll unlock the new tier. Does this strike me as possibly an entry to a magnificent mansion by any chance?
On a 16, you're just not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm speculating at this point.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, right? Like, it's not the weirdest thing for archmages to have their own, like, extra dimensional sanctums or things like that. So,
Right.
maybe something similar to that? Who knows?
Oh, I do have access to 7th level already. Okay, never mind. In theory.
Access to 7th level. My god, you guys are so fucking strong. Holy shit.
How high did we get in Abyss?
What the fuck did I get myself into?
15?
15, I think.
Yeah.
15?
You're very
we're
close.
engine up.
Right there.
Yeah.
Well,
Very close.
so out of the Abyss, I think is only slotted to go, was it 14 to 16? There's a range
Yeah.
that they give to it. But Dom is a 5th through 20th. So
All or
Do
nothing,
you mean
babies.
Dom Mama?
Dommy mommy.
Dummy mommy.
Anything else going on?
is our intent to begin
The
planning
emancipation?
for how we get this key? Is that a safe assumption?
Right. Now, remember, Errolaw offered, to send with us some people who volunteered. But
And I suggested that potentially 2 of us are not the most
The idea previously discussed was if it was a stealth mission, House Freth could try to create a diversion, right? To draw away some of the Zezana. So that that might increase the success rate of the stealth mission. But
I'm not a big fan of involving, potential resources for something later.
It was made very clear, because Driven was not initially happy with the idea, that he would not bring anyone except for volunteers into the situation.
Yeah.
And my counter offer was me and Ashes play diversion while
Look, we're doing them a favor. They should have some skin in the game.
Right.
They
No.
do.
I understand that concept, but we're talking about resources that are supposed to be allocated. Like, if something were to happen, and we lost people, that's just
You
gonna
guys just want to go and check out this pit? They say it's not guarded, right?
That is not what they say.
No, didn't what's his face say? I don't know if Mitch shared that. Whatever.
Oh, no. So, I mean, I assume
I'm
that's
getting a
all,
phone call.
like, player knowledge at this point. For clarity, he said that they weren't guarding the key, that the key was just in the pit. But that's not to say that the pit doesn't have individuals there.
Oh, I thought he said it was unguarded. They just it's unguarded. At the
Well, it's
bottom
not
of the pit of
it's not like they're
sacrifice.
sitting there watching it like, oh, no one can come get this thing, right? It's not a protected treasure, basically.
So they don't guard the key, but they guard the location.
yeah, it's the pit of sacrifice. Of course they guard it. It's a cherished treasure to Baphomet.
Neat. I love Baphomet.
You bear his likeness. Very
one of my-
boar-headed.
He's one of my favorite demon lords.
Yeah.
Matashtai,
Yes.
while this conversation is happening, somewhat involuntarily, your mind drifts momentarily into the past, about 2 weeks or so, to a swamp and a bunch of frogs and some weird toad-licking ritual where when you had basically first met Culp, the elderman or shaman of the Blacktongue tribe.
Damn, the Enderman.
And he had given each of you these kind of like strange prophecies.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
Oh, God.
yours, kind of unbidden, rises back to your mind in this memory. Not so silent watcher, companion, seeker, the one who lived and yet does not grow, the one who seeks but why? Obligation, instinct, boredom, even with the second heart, you are not yet whole. The that can change. Purpose can change. You will find what was lost in the presence of the Queen in Obsidia.
Oh.
You hear in your mind Valena's voice. What are you going to do?
I really don't know. I'd like to think that he's not helping them just for the sake of personal wealth or something along those lines,
I
but
mean, there has to be something else happening. It can't be that.
definitely wouldn't seem like him. I don't know that I can formulate a good plan until I figure out more what he's doing down here. I mean, he might just be looking for the artifacts like I have. But since he didn't have Tambakiri, he might need allies to help find him.
Even without
sorry, hold on.
Tambakiri,
Everybody doesn't have their own Tambakiri. He doesn't have like a I don't know, size that are Tambakiri.
No. Tambakiri is specific to the sect.
so you in your mind, Matashtai, you do hear Valena say, he might not have Tambakiri, but he is a formidable warrior. And he has Otagine, at least, though it does not have the Lodestone's properties. Because you remember back on the ship, there were 2 spears, but Tambakiri is the Lodestone. Tambakiri is meant to lead the way.
I just see PX in the background just staring.
Yeah.
He's I don't
licking
know.
his lips.
I think he thinks that Cassandra's in that room, and she might be. But he's soft barking at it. He's going. "Quack." Just
Got
real
that-
soft.
He's got that frowny face stink eye going on.
Yeah, he's
That's
extremely
just his
angry right
resting
now.
face.
No, he's mad. That's his mad
No.
face.
He mad, yeah. I can tell.
But I'm hoping we can get a chance to talk to him. Figure out what's going on. Maybe get his help again.
What was that?
What?
What was that word he said at the start? When he was talking to them, he was talking for someone, on behalf of someone. Kretch?
Searching.
Hey Ezra,
Searching.
who's Creech?
Do I recognize the name that was given?
Make a history check.
$18. I'll
There.
sword point it. Why not? Even better.
Yes. I mean, you sit there and you're like, you try to, and then you realize you're trying to pinpoint an obscure name out of the thousands and thousands of names that you have floating around in your head, and you're like,
Nothing that's pertinent in this situation.
Alright, thanks Ezra.
You're welcome.
I'm turning back to internal monologue. No idea. Might be something we gotta ask around about. Maybe the drow now. I probably should have asked when we were in the room with them.
maybe. And if
Um,
not, at least, I mean, it's good to know he's alive. I hope
It is.
Garatuta's doing fine. You know that to be Darren
The other
Tash's
spear.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Halaster. Or Corey.
I hope they're both doing great. I look forward to seeing them again.
You guys short rest, or do you keep planning what the fuck's about to happen?
Well,
What is
absolutely
about to happen? Because we didn't talk about this at all, and we were supposed to.
I
Oh, no.
tried like
That's
3
so
times.
uncommon
I'm
for
just
us.
saying.
I have
When has that
zero
ever
memory
happened?
of that.
All right,
I
so
can use a short rest.
Well, I assume that's gonna happen, right? Though I will say I'm not counting this as like one of your obligatory short rests towards a long rest. This is kind of like a
Maybe.
imposed breather that House Freth is like, look, if you're gonna do this and we're gonna be involved, we need a moment, so you chill for a second. Y'all figure shit out.
okay.
So, figure
Fair
shit
enough.
out.
All right, stealth mission, yes or no? Let's just
Yes.
make yes.
I think we should try and stealth to the pit, and then evaluate and deal from there.
Okay, so bam.
Which means I also believe that we should let them, you know,
I
Be a
think Bones and
distraction.
Matashtai should stealth to the pit.
so you want
There's-
us to go to the pit just to
I
see
need.
what's
Oh,
up?
I have to doff armor if I'm even going to stand a chance
Right.
at making a,
And I
a roll.
want to point out again that we are 13th level adventurers. If me and Ashes want to be a diversion, I think we can do that without fear of death. The
Okay, so
concern
just so we're clear,
is-
and like I'm kind of down for this. You want to split the party and do a
Yes.
smash and grab?
yes.
Okay.
Smash
Except
one
maybe
side,
not-
grab the other.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, all right, let's do it.
Matt,
Fine by me. I'd
I mean, you
rather
guys
get
are
Bones back up
probably
anyway, rather than send
at-
them alone.
at
Oh,
bigger
no.
risk than we are. So
So here's my
right,
question,
we're doing.
right?
I guess we're doing a separate
Okay.
smash.
Well,
and
so
grab.
here's my question, right? It would be my assumption if we went and did this like, people, we would end up probably fighting this dude, probably killing him, maybe killing him, trying to kill him. And
Killing who?
then
the
current leader,
mage,
the
the witch
current
doctor.
leader. Yeah.
That
And
guy's
then
name's not
obviously
right.
then we
Looking up
come
his face.
back, we get this man out of madness, he goes back, he's the de facto leader, cool.
Maku.
But if we do a smash and grab, we're not killing him. We're not
Right.
we're trying to avoid.
Right.
So that means we're gonna send Weakened Man to try and take power?
Yes, Prush would be.
There is a, in the midst of this conversation, there is a, and that tear opens back up, and Driven Freth steps out of it.
I'm having
In the
this
midst
conversation
of
in
all of
character.
you, right? Looks at you, looks left and right, tosses something to Ezra.
I try to grab it.
You're a 13th level adventurer.
Okay.
You might not be super dexterous, but you can grab a
All right.
scroll
Just
that
drops
he throws
everything.
to you.
Okay.
And he tosses that to you and says,
Okay.
"That might help with your planning."
Quick question before you leave. Oh,
Oh,
baby.
He
Wow,
hands you
yeah.
a map of what House Freth knows of this floor of the dungeon.
Wonderbar.
Also,
That-
just
That big X, that's the quote-unquote pit of sacrifice.
as,
Gotcha.
as a tip, if you that the image that just popped up, if you right click it and say copy image address and put that in a new tab, you can blow that up real nice and big.
It's
in another
massive.
tab.
Yeah, if you
Oh,
put that
I didn't
And
get
it's-
a pop up.
right next to the portal that we come from. One of the floors. I don't
Jeremy,
remember
can you
what floor. 10?
resend that? I didn't get the pop-up.
I will re-show players.
I mean, you can
look
also
at
just
that.
look at maps in your.
Yeah, it's a handout.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
close
a
to
handout.
the-
Level 12
Yeah,
Frethian
it's
maps.
close to the
Level
close to the-
12
Um,
Frethian maps.
Close to the level
Driven
12
will also
corridor.
say there are two entrances into the mist. The one that you're familiar with, and then one almost directly due south of Spiderwatch Keep. That one is very close to the pit of sacrifice, or Maku's hold. It's just also the most heavily guarded, which is why we presumed a distraction would be helpful if you were trying to do that.
Hold on, which one? The one directly south of Spiderwatch is the most heavily guarded?
Yes, it's also the closest. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. It's also the closest to the pit.
Yes.
That's
Um,
what he said.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Is if you wanted to stealth in, that would be the shortest route, but it's also the most heavily guarded one. So that might be a problem if you don't have a distraction. He also holds up a. It looks like he stretches it between 3 fingers, and it looks like a little silvery filament. And he says, "I prepared something in case you are going to do this as a stealthier mission. Who would be going?"
Ezra points at Bones and Matt.
He walks over to Bones, and holds out 3 fingers like this, and just kind of like
I
holds
hold out
it.
3 fingers like this.
He kind of like waves that away, and he nods to your forehead. And he puts 2 fingers just above your eyes and 1 on the tip of your nose, and you feel this kind of like shock, and then your eyes. It's like you
Great.
It's like your sinus is fucking clear all of a sudden, right?
I need that
And-
spell.
And you feel this tingling in your fingertips, and he says, "I don't know how accurate it's going to be because I've never seen the damn thing, but
Ooh,
I
detect magic
tried to
or locate
cobble
object.
together something that will hopefully help you locate it." And you do, in fact, feel this kind of like this
Ping.
pull, this ping far to the southwest of where you are currently at. So far away that you don't get any exact kind of like information. And he tells you the closer you get, the stronger it should work, as long as there isn't any interference. And he just
I,
kind of
as the
shrugs.
I, as the magic cat of this group, accept this. Thank you.
Before you leave, while we were spectating that scrying that your sister was doing, we heard a voice that we've acknowledged is a companion or a previous companion of Matashtai's. He made reference to a name, Crush or something of that nature. Do you know who?
I think he said Kretch Kalir, but I have no idea who that might be.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds fucking Gith Yankee as fuck. Sorry, that's out of character. There's no way I would know that.
No, Darren Tesh has been taken by the Gith.
He was a Gith all along.
Were you attacked by, bitch?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They converted him.
Oh, damn, it's all coming together. Thank you, Baldur's Gate. There's no other way I would know that word.
Well, how
I
far
think
are you? Like,
You
what act?
and
1.
3 million people probably right now.
I never make it past the Goblin Camp. I get to the Goblin Camp and then I turn it off and I forget about it for weeks.
There you go.
Gotcha.
I just didn't want to lose all progress on my romance, so I put a bookmark in my progress
There you
and
go.
said they're gonna patch it. Because I'm gonna be real pissed if I put 100 hours into this
Man.
game and then I ain't getting my romance.
Lose that
I'm,
romance.
I'm still sad.
You were going
that
into that game for the wrong things.
I got
Is
I got
he?
ghosted
I
by
mean,
Carlac
There are so
halfway through
many
the
Yeah.
people that went into that game for bear sex, so I think I'm a little bit.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
I
knock.
went
You
in for
have
bear
fun
sex.
doing whatever you want to do, Jake. I'm not gonna knock it.
I'm knocking it.
I am not going to play that
Oh, he
game
knocking it.
multiple times. So I'd like to check all of the boxes. One of them, yes, being the romance element of it.
The other, the bear sex.
Bear
No,
sex.
that's not even on my list.
All right.
Not yet.
Driven kind of like nods and says, "All right, well, I have other preparations to make, so when you're ready, come find us." And he leaves.
Appreciate it.
All right, so we've agreed on stealth mission. We have agreed on splitting the party. Are there any other plans or preparations we need to
Yes,
make?
we need to figure out where we are doing this distraction, since I think we already know where.
You know, I'm starting to regret when I was looking for spell scrolls that I didn't try to get a hold of some pass without a trace. That would have been real nice.
Would have been pretty sweet.
I'm pretty disappointed in you as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, mutual feelings.
Mutual feelings.
All right, well, I feel the need to go make preparations then. I leave.
I don't know what that means.
All right.
Oh, by the way, are we
Bones leaves.
doing our short? I don't.
Yeah,
absolutely
like this is
100%
over the course of the period of short resting, so everyone gains the benefits of a short rest.
Yeah,
I
I'm
already
short
did that.
rested.
I show the
So-
page with my benefits.
So, Jay, as I look at the map, I'm trying to think where a good distraction.
Right. So.
So the
axe is
spider,
ultimate goal for,
right?
for
So
Team Sneak. Right.
so the steel spider web stuff. Do I know what that question mark is?
That's a question mark y'all put on the map.
Likely story.
Likely story, Jeremy.
Well, anyways, so
In fact, it shouldn't be on the Frethian map. That should just be on y'all's map. Sorry, I didn't take it off.
Hey, Drevin, what's this question mark?
Doesn't know what you're talking about.
So the steel silk, or the steel webbing to the south, Drevin mentioned was guarded. He said.
He would have told
Yes.
y'all, or you would have been told a few different times over the course of your time in Spiderwatch Keep, that the Zazana mostly keep to the southwest of the mist, which is why you can actually come and go from that one portal that you use without constantly being attacked, right? By actual minotaurs, just mistatars.
Minotaurs, yeah.
So there's been so much traffic from House Spreth to the 11th level, right? Which, if you look at that map, is in the southeast, right? That portion tends to not have a lot of Zazana. Like, they'll roam in there every once in a while, but there's been so much fighting between the two forces that the Zazana mostly keep to the southwest, and House Spreth keeps beyond the iron webs.
So, what if the four of us journey to the question mark that isn't there?
Hold on, I've lost the sheet.
He's lost it.
And then instead of you guys entering through where this super guarded direction is, you guys sneak in kind of from the southeast knowing that your fastest escape route isn't the way you entered.
We journey to the question mark. Okay.
And the question mark is where Jay and I are going to
Create a distraction.
create the distraction.
So you.
But if the four of us go there together, not only does that get you guys safely to a different angle, but that also gets Jay and I safely to our spot. In theory.
Okay.
But then you guys know you've got an escape route.
Sorry, so I didn't have the map up. Where did you say start?
So the question mark that isn't there. So we would walk from where we normally have been traveling, which is the southeast, that tangle of webbing, walking the long route to the question mark, the four of us. And then from there, you guys will venture and get to the X from more of a southerly direction, possibly more risky, but that doesn't draw attention to the faster route, which will be your escape route.
I don't see an X. Where's the X?
Far to the west.
Are you on the Frethian map or are you on a different map?
Oh, I need to be on the Frethian map. Okay, I see. Okay.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with that as well.
I think we have somehow successfully made a plan.
The only other option I can think of is we both come from that closer direction, but it splits at the spider webs. And we could potentially make a noise on the more southerly side, but that feels almost too close to you guys. I don't know if that buys you enough time for what you need to do.
I mean, at this point, we have no idea how long anything would take in the pit. Like, if we gotta find this fucking key and it's buried under 1,000 bodies, who knows? Or maybe it's just sitting on a table somewhere where they harvest the bodies for the pit.
Pit bodies.
Bodies!
Yeah, whatever. That sounds fine to me. I mean, we'll figure it out. I mean, and if we can't get it, then I guess we'll, give you a little call and everybody can pull out.
The intent would be the first group back, if she is willing, leveraging Erlol as a sending or one of her agents that have sending. I don't know what they would be capable of. But
we got these, and I hold up the sending stones. Don't we? I have one of them.
You
I don't know if I have the
gave
other one.
gave one to someone else.
Oh well, I have one.
You gave one
guy.
to Pibble, actually, didn't you?
Yeah. All right.
Right?
Well, I have this one, guys.
So that they
Never
can
mind.
that they can send you in case there is another attack on the lost levels.
Yeah.
I have a
yeah,
sending
all right,
stone
well,
in my bag, but I probably don't actually have that then.
No.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. I will remove.
Alright, well.
You do have something else, though it's not as fast as ascending.
We have Mossy.
Also,
paper
true.
pages.
Also,
Yeah,
not as
we've
fast
got
as ascending.
paper birds.
You do. Though a paper bird can be destroyed, so
Yeah.
it's not the guaranteed.
It can also be intercepted.
Yep.
It can be intercepted, but if it's opened by anyone other than its intended target, it can't be read. It disintegrates, I think.
Hold on,
Right,
I need to
that's
call Mom. I'll be back.
Okay,
Right.
no worries.
Oh.
There is
Alright.
a... Aw. kind of don't want to do this when Zach's not around, actually.
Then let us. Shit, I don't know.
Any other plans or ideas or things like that?
All right. Well, here. How about?
Here, I'll say this because I know this is coming. There's another knocking at the door.
Oh. It's open.
Door cracks. Driven peeks in and says, I've reached out to some of our mage corps, and they are preparing invisibility spells to aid you in this matter.
Oh, awesome.
Very
Unless
generous.
that screws with your plans.
No. I think that's going to be very helpful.
Rilna
Thank you.
has sent out the call, by the way.
Appreciate it.
He still doesn't look happy about it, but he just kind of like nods, closes the door, and leaves you alone again. This is
I
the
got
most
Driven's
interrupted
mad at
short
us, but he's
rest.
regularly the one that he keeps being the one that has to come talk to us.
He has this attitude of like he is a get shit done style person, right? Like he's not happy that because he feels like you guys are doing something incredibly foolhardy, right? To gamble everything on the
Coming from the
hopes-
guy who wants to summon a demon.
Right, but for him, he's normally the one in control. So he's like, I can trust my control. How am I going to trust this random mindless raging beast to somehow be a boon to us? Right? Like my plan had clear set lines. Get Mapimi's heart, which is something we need to kill him anyways, right? Summon a fucking
Demon that
higher
I can
demon.
totally 100% with guarantees
I've got this.
control.
I've got yeah, absolutely, obviously,
Mhm.
right? But in his
Yep.
mind,
Yep.
he's like he's got this,
Yep.
right? He's an
Yep.
archmage. They're
Look, I appreciate his moxie.
prideful to a
Right.
fault.
Yep. The only thing that we need to be able to address is if shit hits the fan for one group, we need to get that information to the other group that
Like if distraction group fails, then
Or needs to
stealth
pull
group
out.
needs to know that happened.
well, I'm not too worried about distraction group failing in so much as us dying. It's just us dimension dooring back behind safe lines. But as soon as distraction ends,
That then the jig is up.
right. In theory.
Or if distraction group is holding out just fine, and holding out just fine, and holding out just fine, and non-distraction group has been gone the whole fucking time. Like they were in and out, and then distraction group is just like, how long do we hold here?
Right. Exactly.
You know?
So in my mind, it's like, all right, the first group that makes it back gets a sending spell to one of the other two.
Do you want me to just split up the stack of paper birds so that we all have some to use in case?
I mean, in theory, we all just need one.
I mean, yeah, but
For
not
this
listed.
instance, we all just need one.
All right. I will give everyone
You get a bird,
paper-
and you
sheet
get a
of paper
bird,
birds.
and you get a bird.
and I will denote having taken out 3.
I will tickle a bird.
Mossy grumbles at you.
I will give Mossy, despite the fact I'm the only person in this fucking group that can't understand a word he says, a paper bird.
How does that make you feel, Jay?
Takes it, and like
Don't eat it.
holding it in the crook of his
Eat it.
claw. He sniffs it,
Don't eat it.
and he hands it back to you.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right. So that means
You
I
want
have
your shit.
14 paper birds left.
Pip-a-bed.
Four?
14 paper birds.
Yeah, I gave 3
Oh, right.
to
the-
the goblins,
Yep.
so that like there is another source of
Just,
communication.
just in case.
Just in
In
case.
theory, because those birds definitely can travel between floors, and Halaster doesn't.
I'm
have some
assuming
sort of-
they can travel however they need to get to
Oh,
where they're going.
It's not a question about the functionality of the birds. It's a question of the functionality of the dungeon itself.
I should have asked this, but do paper birds have having functions? Can they pad?
They are a physical thing. They are like a bird. They fly to their target. So if their target
they are
is
capable of padding.
yeah, if
Again,
they're
my question is not the functionality of the birds.
it's are they gonna get incinerated by some weird ass Halaster magic as they go from
There's
one
some
floor to the
random
next?
wall that,
Yeah,
that is
right.
invisible.
It's
Let's
literally
test-
just
we'll
an
go back to the level
anti-paper
six
bird
symbol.
wall. Halaster's just like, these fucking birds keep flying around now. Fuck
Right.
this shit.
So, well, I actually left one paper bird with Cine, and I was like, hey, send this to us like, you know, in a day or two, and then we're just gonna be down here, way down on the 10th floor or whatever, or 9th or wherever we are right now, and
Well,
maybe one day we'll just see a paper bird flying.
I just imagine, especially with Dwermacor being in between us and the 6th,
Right.
like there's no way in hell that school doesn't have a
Oh
sword
yeah,
thing.
absolutely.
Jay, in reference to that kind of concept, like Cine sends the bird, it starts flying. In the time that it's flying, you guys teleport back behind
Oh,
it
no.
and go up, so it starts turning back, and then
This is a very frustrated, paper bird that doesn't have feelings.
oh god.
Yep,
All right.
it just flies down the, just normal paper birds flying around the city or whatever. Takes a dive into the yawning portal, flies over the patrons and straight
Darnan's
down
just
into
like,
the hole.
you owe me a gold, whoever you are. That'd be fun. Anything else that you guys want to do?
Okay,
like you got a plan?
so paper bird. We'll have to remember that Zach has one when he comes back. All right. So while we're waiting, we still have some other things we can potentially discuss. So that's how we're dealing with Prush right now. We still have are we planning on getting the heart to Driven? Are we actually planning on getting the Mapemi's heart?
No, I mean we're not going to allow him to summon a demon if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, are we going to
Allow. I say
like-
that like I have any control over what he does.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm just saying. Is that something we're going to look into? And yes or no? Like, not. If not, whatever. That's I'm
I
not.
mean, Ezra's knee-jerk reaction is I am not saying our plan is great or flawless, but in Ezra's mind, that is a worse plan.
Okay. So, if we
That'll
consider
be
that at any point, it's going to be a little bit lower in the quest tracker.
I mean, killing the penny is fine. It's more the second step of that.
Well, I mean, why would we go through the efforts of killing Mapemi if we're not going to do the
Make
thing
it
that
easier for House Breath.
Mapemi's still a threat as they march
Oh,
through the 11th floor.
Okay.
And
Alright.
the biggest concern with the Warrens is outside of Mapeni, the horde of trolls, and the troglodytes that have a relationship with Avrindar.
Speaking
And
of trolls,
so-
what are we doing about Trollton? Are we actually going to Trollton? Are we going to
No,
deal
No.
with the trolls or what? Because
I mean, that sounds like a death sentence to go to Trollton.
right, but let's say we clear out the trolls, right?
Sure.
Then more are just going to come from Trollton, right?
Sure.
Like that's not a solution to the trolls.
I think that is a problem for after.
Okay.
Just
all right.
just like Muriel is a problem for after.
Okay.
That is my intention, at least. That is the way I see the pieces of the puzzle coming together. Whether or not Jeremy decides to drop Muriel in our way is a whole
Look at
different
that
story.
face. Look at that face. He's totally gonna do it too.
It's all how the
Like
dice
if
roll,
this was at a
probably.
physical table, he'd be like staring at the mini that he has behind the DM screen.
Yeah.
An awesome mini
Itching.
too. It's a fucking dope ass mini.
Just itching to use it.
No, I think those are great questions.
No.
But in terms of Trollton and Muriel, I think both of those are lower on the priority list. Yes, we'll deal with the trolls that we encounter as we're traveling through the 11th. But the idea of dealing with Trollton is a whole different beast. And
Yeah.
I will clarify
Hey,
information
random-
because this is something that you guys have been sitting on for 2 weeks, but your characters have been sitting on for
hours.
20 minutes.
best.
Right? Like, so in regards to the Nahastu, the troglodytes, right? The leadership of House Freth has told you, right, that Avrandar has been enslaving them, and that a group of them seemingly has defected to House Avrandar, right? Like there was some sort of civil strife within the tribe, and a group of the Nahastu is now working with House Avrandar. And so the remainder of the tribe is just like kill every drow on sight, basically.
Cool. Glad we're not drow.
Yet another reason why House Freth is happy to send you to deal with problems.
Makes sense. All right, can someone give me a 3-minute what I missed?
No,
Mostly
we were
just
going
talk
over
about
the
things. Yeah. Also, you have a
we're just
paper
going over
bird now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
I gave you a paper bird. We
All
all
right,
at
so-
least have one paper bird.
If we're just talking about things, that's cool. I need to go make preparations, and I would go and find, I guess the armory person is the best place to start.
Okay.
Or if
you
I
had-
run into like any like military personnel, I'll be like, hey, this is what I need.
I mean, when you walk out, there are several dozen soldiers in the parade ground still running drills. You
Okay.
can flag someone down, or you can head to the armory since you know where it is now.
I head to the armory.
Okay.
I like to move around unburdened.
Easy peasy. So Bones and Mossy head to the armory.
So are we
Going on
relying
adventure.
on the paper birds as our...
Well, your alternative
is
is
that-
to you need to talk to
Right.
someone else is the alternative.
Right, that's why I'm asking. Are we intending on relying as this as our source of communication for, all right, noisemakers get out, or
How long does it take a
noisemakers had
paper
to
bird to
bounce?
go somewhere?
I mean, they have like a 60-foot flying speed.
Okay.
That's pretty quick.
it's more they can be
They can be intercepted, they can be
and-
destroyed, they can be blocked, etc., etc.
like that.
Yeah.
That might be a failsafe, but the intent being, if our home base or our return spot is the keep, and there is someone in the keep that can do sending,
Sure.
that the first
I mean,
group
that's-
back can have a sending sent to someone in the other group.
I'm sure they would be amenable to that.
Right. Especially if that's the only resource we're truly asking of the incursion instead of their lives.
Just a conversation
I
that needs to be had.
I can send Mossy. He's pretty slow, but he goes through walls and shit.
I would feel better because that's only a one-way communication.
I guess
That
so, maybe.
that we establish a way for group 1 and group 2 to be able to.
Yeah, if Mossy is with you and you send him to the distraction group, cool, but the distraction group has nothing to send to you.
Right, exactly.
Or no Mossy to
That's
send
why-
to you. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds A-okay to me. Whatever y'all want to do.
So Bones disappears, and then I ask for audience with the powerful people.
Sure, sounds good. Okay. Ezra bounces, leaving Matashtai and Ashes alone, chilling. Unless Ashes and Matashtai have anything that they want to go off and do while this is happening.
I challenge Ashes to an arm wrestling match.
Okay.
No wolfing out aloud.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
Okay.
I feel like we have to resolve that. Okay. Arm wrestling
Yep.
match. Go.
Do we?
Athletics check. Whoever wins inspiration.
Ooh. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Big. Oh shit! Well, I can't beat
I
that.
get fucked, Matashtai. Get absolutely wrecked.
Damn it, we
it's still a good roll though. Ooh,
I
we
mean,
could
yeah.
have used inspiration on this damn
Like-
mission.
Against any normal human, Matashtai, you're ready, you're set, and it would have been a solid pull. Ashes just goes.
More wine.
He like, you release and you go, and it's a momentary grip, and he just goes, wham!
I rolled way better than I should have. Jeremy was like,
I know,
against a
challenge him
normal
to
human
the
being. And I was like, okay, I'll roll this. Nope, I rolled a 17.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Tiffany, thank you very much for the 10
Hey,
gifted tier 1
Tiff.
subs.
God damn.
That's just gonna happen for
I now
like the
challenge him
next,
to the pommel
next
horse.
30
Let's go.
seconds. Pommel horse?
Pommel
What's the pommel
horse.
horse?
Oh, is it
The gymnastics thing where
Yeah,
they
yeah,
they're on
it has,
top
like,
of
a
it.
bar
What are you
on
gonna
it.
pommel horse on?
I don't know.
You're,
So you
tell
tell me
you're telling
they ain't got a pommel
Driven-
horse here? There ain't no
We're
damn
gonna
way they ain't
pommel
got a
horse
pommel
on
horse.
top of Mossy.
Mossy's
Nah,
gone.
Mossy
Oh
don't-
my god.
Mossy's with me, bro.
Well, shit.
I gotta pet
He
this
don't
cat for like the
like
next
you.
30 seconds.
Fine. I pull out a little baggie of, I don't know,
Drugs?
stuff, and I challenge Ashes to hacky sack.
Oh, nice. Okay, let's do it.
I challenge Ashes to a game of what's in my pocket. Filled by Baggett style.
Both of you roll me sleight of hand checks, or in this case,
Sleight
sleight
of
of feet
Okay,
checks.
okay.
Sleight of
Sleight of feet check.
Ooh!
I am just losing my ass tonight.
You hear in your mind. You hear in your mind. You are just. Are you sure you want to do this? You're having
No
an
one
off
asked
day.
you.
Oh, minus reputation.
I just
Salty.
saved your ass.
Yeah. My goodness. All right. You head to the
Hello.
armory. What are you doing?
Hey,
hey.
Armory man.
Yeah.
I
You're
need
back.
supplies for a stealth incursion. You have any flash bombs or smoke bombs?
What?
Flash bombs or smoke bombs? You got any of those?
I'm not an alchemist. We don't stock that here.
So I should go to the alchemist. Okay.
They're normally busy making potions, not whatever the hell you're talking about.
Well, that's not encouraging, but I'll do it anyway. All right. Also, do you have like long lengths of like thread? I mean, like wire?
We have some silk cable.
How strong is the silk cable?
He walks over, rummages through some box, pulls out a spool of what looks to be this like dark gray silk, pulls some out, and like holds it in front of you. Go ahead.
I'll poke at it. That
Taut, stiff.
Doesn't tell me much about that. Is it strong enough to, I don't know, trip a raging bull?
Try to cut it.
All right, I'll try and cut it. Mossy, try and cut that.
Jesus.
Frosty waddles over and goes, "Poof," and it doesn't cut, but it sure as shit just like pulls it out of his fucking hands, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
That is strong. All right, can I get that?
Sure, 2 gold.
I'm trying to liberate you. What do you mean 2 gold?
Wow.
I run an armory,
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
and this is not
Immediately kicked
exactly
out.
a regular outfitting. How do you think I
Fine.
procure random supplies?
I don't know. Runners?
Trading.
Who are you trading with?
Other houses, primarily.
My mom doesn't trade. She's a homemaker. Fine, 2 gold. Can I have some pitons with it?
Sure.
And a hammer. Sweet.
Pitons.
As a throw-in.
5 copper for the pitons.
I don't
And that's a
carry
set of 10,
copper.
right?
1 gold for a hammer.
I will give you 3 gold for all of it.
He withholds the pitons.
That thing looks pretty... Is that scaly?
What, mossy?
Uh-oh.
Oh, more rocky.
Pebbly?
Yeah, he's pretty pebbly.
Those come out?
No, they don't.
You sure?
100%.
What if I paid you?
Nope.
3 gold, 5 copper, then.
I also need 5 water skins. Full. Doesn't matter what they're full of.
You can fill them yourself.
Fine.
He pees into them.
It's another gold
Alright, 4 gold total.
and 5 copper.
I don't have 5 copper. I have 2 copper.
I'll make
Can
change.
you make change? Fine. I give him 4 gold and a silver.
He gives
I
you
need
all the change in copper.
He does. He gives you all the change in copper. Absolutely. You now have 5 copper.
I don't carry copper.
Now you
You
do.
do now.
Peasant money. No, I'm joking.
God.
I'm out of touch.
As Ezra's sitting here with a range of currency to deal with any sort of situation.
Right?
Alright, which way is the alchemist?
Northern Tower. Ask for Laxdoral.
Great. I go back to our room. I say, Ashes! Ashes! I need
Hey.
alchemist help.
You need alchemist help?
Yeah, come with me to the alchemist.
All right, let's do it. What are we doing?
Matashtai, you staying by yourself?
I'm kind of bored.
Yeah, you can come.
Cool.
I mean, you could stay and practice your hacky sack.
Those guys head out.
I trip Ashes as we walk out.
Meanwhile, Ezra is in Errol Alfred's audience chamber,
No,
speaking
in fact, I
to Driven
stunned his
and Errol.
ankle.
Is this spider
God.
silk? I'm just gonna put spool of spider silk.
It's silken wire is what it is specifically.
You get shin splints from this.
Dragging my leg behind me.
Don't break him before we are your distraction.
Shouldn't have started shit.
Do you know him?
And I bought
Technically, you
4
started it when you
water
chose the
skins.
games.
I chose to play games. He started to talk shit.
I
Talk
wanna
shit,
play a
get hit.
Don't
Ezra.
lose. Hi, that's me.
You make your way
Ezra's
to
brain.
you make your way to Driven to speak with Driven and Errol Freth. They are busy making various preparations. Well, Driven's busy making various preparations. Errol is resting. What do you need?
I don't mean to disturb, but I think we have a plan for procuring that key.
Wonderful.
And was hoping that you might be able to provide some sort of aid in terms of communication, as Ashes and I will be handling a distraction element as Matashtai and Bones play more of a stealthy role in trying to collect the key, but that bears all sorts of extra components in the idea of if we need to bail quickly, or us knowing when they are their task has been completed. So I was hoping there was maybe someone within your hold that would be able to leverage sending. I know you are capable of it, but I was hoping maybe there was
That is a Jace plan
potentially
if I've ever heard one.
other.
Fuck you.
Errol
You insult the two people
looks
at
over
the
to
same
Driven,
time.
and Driven kind of shrugs and he says, there are those of us that are capable, but I don't know that anyone currently has it prepared at this moment. Errol will be your best bet. She has it on hand most times so that she can communicate with primarily our sister.
Is that a resource that you are capable of leveraging today?
Errol nods and she says, yes. That would be fine.
So in theory, whether myself and Ashes return first or Matashtai and Bones returns first, we can seek your audience and get a message to the other group.
When you leave, I will take a repast within the courtyard, and as soon as any of our guards upon the wall see your return, whether it is yours or any of your allies, they will signal to me and I will... No?
So what happens if I dimension door into the courtyard?
Then I will see you immediately and signal to the other group.
Just want to put that card on the table.
Driven, before
I
they
do
leave,
have eyes.
make sure a space is prepared so that there are no accidents. Remember, there's
Again, yes.
There's like several dozen, close to like 50 plus soldiers in the courtyard right now.
Yep. And that's why I'm having this
Yeah.
conversation, and
Yeah.
I'm putting all the
So,
cards on the table.
Driven, like, noticeably makes a mental note, and he's like, sure, I'll add that to the fucking list. Gotcha.
But again, the intent is that the four of us will leave together. We're going to set up shop, and then Team A is going to go and start doing their
Sorry, we're Team
Circle around.
Thundercat. We're Team Thundercat.
team annoying ass cat is going to go, and they're going to sneak around before Ashes and I start making some noise.
Okay,
and...
so that was going to be my question, is who is not on your team, because I didn't want one member to show up and then send the message to the wrong member, and...
Ashes and I are going to be the noisemakers, and Matashtai.
So if you show up,
and
send
Bones.
to Bones or Matashtai. If they show up, send to you or Ashes.
Correct, yes.
Very
please.
well.
I think we're just making preparations, and the intent is to head out shortly.
Wonderful. I believe we are also amidst our preparations and should be on a similar time frame.
We're Team Scorpions.
Unfortunate scorpions.
No, we're fortunate. We're the fortunate Scorpions.
Back to
Unfortunate
Bones.
scorpions.
Back to Bones, Matashtai, Ashes, and Mossy. You find your way with few directions provided to the northern tower, and there you are able to ask after one Halaxdoral.
Hey, Calax Doral. I'm Bones. This is Mossy. That's Ashes. That's Matt.
You find
Damn
a elderly-looking mage, right? Elderly even for a drow, and somewhat not disfigured, but bent with time and age, perhaps.
He's figured.
And not a figure that looks
Experience.
hale and hearty.
Interesting.
Speaks with a quavering voice. Oh, what can I do for you?
And it's a
Hello.
this is a drow, so this person's like
Old
hundreds
million
and
years
hundreds of years old.
Hey, I need some of these, and I pull out a flashbang. Or smoke bombs, whatever you can do.
Let me see.
Alright. I give it to him.
He sniffs it and he licks it. Huh. We have nothing on hand to match this particular item, but I do have a general store of flash powder that could be rigged to do a similar thing.
That sounds great to me.
Okay. It is gonna be a little weighty compared to this. This is very compact.
It is. I got it off a frog.
Interesting. I assume you'll want a fuse, or would you prefer an internal impact detonation?
Impact would be preferable.
Okay. You'll need to be careful, though. Don't go bumping things.
I'm always careful.
Give me a moment. And he waddles off. And you're
I brought
kind of-
Ashes. Ashes is like an alchemist. He can help you. If that's helpful. That's why I brought him.
I mean, is he just selling us stuff? Like,
No, he's going to like cobble something
actually
together.
like
put
he,
shit
didn't,
together?
he didn't say anything about money.
Yeah, someone's nice.
Someone's elderly.
Yeah, someone gave me
Someone
something for free.
recognizes that we're saving people's lives.
Right.
Now, is he like just a few feet away working on something, or do he like leave?
No, this is actually like a turret, a tower, right? There's not a staircase in here. There's a set of ladder. There's a ladder that goes like straight up. He hobbles over to it and then kind of like up the ladder.
What?
Hey, while you're up there, can I get some of that drow poison?
What
think
was
they just call
that?
it- Poison here.
You got any? Do you have any of the poison that puts people to sleep? You know, the drow poison.
Sorry, what? What are you what are you saying?
I go up the ladder. I just go up the ladder.
You go up the ladder and there's like two other wizardy looking fellows up here, like hunched over at desks, seemingly busy, preoccupied with something. Laxdoral is up another ladder on a
Do you guys
different
have any of that poison, the drow poison that puts people to sleep?
One of them turns to you and kind of like looks down their nose through these spectacles and says, "We do not use the offspring of the Spider Queen here. However, we do have some
Do you have an equivalent?
spore-based.
Okay. How do I coat a weapon in spores?
It comes in a... Fuck, what's the word? It comes in a... Not a salve, but it's a viscous liquid. right? That they
Oh,
basically
gel?
put the
Like
yeah,
gelatin?
something like- yeah.
Comes in ooze form. Got it. All right, can I have some of that?
Narrows his eyes. You're one of those we've been hearing about.
Only if it's good things. Otherwise, that's not me. Unless it's awesome things, then that is me.
Fill out this form.
Oh, I draw a cat face.
That's not the proper way to fill out the form.
I say 7 drow poisons, cat face.
Takes it. Scratches out the 7. Fills in a bunch of other information that you did not put in, like the date and etc. etc. There's a little like space for like reason for the requisition. Just puts a bunch of fucking question marks, right? Puts
No idea.
2 into the actual quantity space, and then brings 2 vials of a spore-based poison to you.
And then the Bones draws a little 0 next to the 2.
20.
Swats. Quit that.
Okay. 2 drow ooze poison. Can I know what that does? So when you ask me what that does, I can tell you?
It does basically the same thing as what drow poison does, but with some differing statistics. Technically, it is not actually a poison, so it can go through things that are immune to poison. It is just it is a paralytic agent, so it just straight paralyzes.
Okay.
But it has a DC of 11 instead of the typical DC of 13 for drow poison.
DC 11 con
Yes.
to paralyze, nothing if save. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Did Zaftal come back down?
Laxdoral is still up there doing their thing. But I mean that does take a little bit of time. So as this is all transpiring, as Bones is actually acquiring the 2 doses, Laxdoral comes down with a little crate under his arm, right? It's about 8 inches in dimension all the way around, right? It's not small.
Great.
But, in theory, it will function in the same way that a flashbang will function.
I have to throw a fucking crate?
He told you!
Alright. Well, it is what it is. Thanks for the crate.
You're very welcome, young man.
You should make Bones make deck saves for as long as he's holding it. Otherwise, he trips.
Trips and blows everything up.
Okay. Anything else going on in the alchemy tower or the mage's tower?
Yes.
Actually,
Zaftal, sir.
Laxdoral.
Laxdoral, where'd Zaftal go?
Zaftal was never here. You keep
sorry.
swapping them.
I don't know why I keep swapping the 2.
It happens. Bunch of
Yeah,
random
but-
ass names.
Yeah. All right. So, Laxdoral. Yes.
Nope, that's correct.
God.
Okay, Woods.
I don't know. There's some kind of mental block going on here. But anyways, sir, I heard that you may have spent some time with a while back with someone named Borden, male, human, white hair. I'm actually looking for him.
The
I was wondering
werewolf. He smells
Yeah.
like you.
Yep. Well, we have that in common.
You should fix that.
Probably.
Agreed.
Rest in
Shut up.
peace.
I'm not there.
Yeah, I was curious if there was any information you could provide me with, maybe where he was heading or what he was doing when he was here.
He didn't speak much about his intentions, but he spent some time with me working on some various concoctions. He was experimenting a bit. It seemed as if he had some go-to solutions for things, but he had some ideas that he wanted to fiddle-faddle around with, and I helped him a wee bit on those. Something to, something to, I think. How's the best way to say this? Something to reawaken his mind after a set period of time.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
Like it'll only let him sleep for like 30 minutes at a time, or what?
I'm not quite sure what the actual
sleep aid.
problem he was trying to solve was, but
Is there any practices within the order that would
Stop.
like remind me of? Like, is that some like?
Well, so you are part of the Order of Sharp Teeth, right? Which is
Yep.
primarily blood hunters. Although there are primarily lycanthropes, right? Werewolves or wares. There are sister orders, right? The Ghost Slayers and things like that, right? Like that specialize in differing things. You would occasionally see members of those other orders around. And there is an order that actually hypes themselves up on drugs all the fucking time.
Yo, the mutants, baby! I love you.
Baby.
But in point of fact, there were actually some crossovers here or there, right? Like there were some naturally born lycanthropes or wares that were not members of the Order of Sharp Teeth, but actually members of other orders that came to the Order of Sharp Teeth to train for a while in that scenario. So there's a little bit of cross-pollination that happens between these various different blood hunter orders, right? So the concept of these types of concoctions is not unfamiliar to you, but you don't have any real amount of expertise with them, not enough to deduct
Right.
what the fuck
So
Borden
there's not
might have been
enough
trying to do.
context to really
Exactly,
get
right?
that.
Like, you could try to contact other members of the order or something like that to try to garner some of that information, but
It's a printer. Stop.
but you know,
Okay.
That's enough.
get some things up.
Thank you for your time, like Doral.
No, don't mention it. I've got plenty left.
Do you? I mean, probably. He's only the young age of 592.
That's being generous. Yeah. He's probably like 970 something.
I actually have no idea what the maximum lifespan of an elf is.
I think like
Oh.
maturity is like 90 years.
Or if like drow and elf lifespans are similar or not. I would assume they're at least close.
Maybe if you weren't so racist, you would know.
Yeah,
So,
maybe.
While this is happening, Ezra, what are you doing?
After audience with leadership, I would have left out to the courtyard and been looking for Rilna.
She's in the middle of the courtyard directing various soldiers in differing drills.
I would wait for a moment where it seems like she isn't deeply ingrained in her work.
Takes a few
on
minutes.
not
Yeah,
distracting.
takes a few minutes. She clearly notices you, right? Like very early on, but continues her work. And then after a few minutes pass, she speaks to seemingly some other officers, and they take over. And she starts to walk over to you. And before you can speak, she says, "Ezrah, I had reports from some individuals about the various goods that you delivered. I have a question for you. Are you trying to court me?"
Would you be mad if I said yes?
That's not an answer.
I have interest. Yes.
Good. I permit you to continue to do so, as long as this does not interfere with either of our duties.
I can agree to those terms.
I share your interest. However, the current circumstances come first.
Of course.
And unless I'm mistaken, even after these circumstances are hopefully suitably dealt with, you still have other things to attend to.
That is correct.
Then I will remain interested but detached.
Who is this again that Ezra has the hots for?
The captain of the guard.
Gotcha.
It's very transactionary.
That's who.
I get it.
Ooh, she can string
Understandable.
me up anytime.
That was an explanation for the transactionalness, not the Ezra's interest. Gosh.
While we are, establishing terms of this relationship, might I borrow you for a private moment?
She kind of directs you to
Just
follow her
discuss being
off to the
detached.
side over towards one of the benches that are off on one of the more not private areas but away from everything else that's going on.
Scandalous, a private moment.
And I pull out the gift I had wrapped for her.
What is this?
A small token of my interest and a way to show that your well-being is important to me.
I must warn you that I do not often find gifts to be a great... She doesn't finish the statement. She opens the
Yep.
package.
Yep.
All right, love language is not tokens of affection.
I'm okay with it.
And what does she see within?
Giving.
So there is the ring and the egg. Yeah, no, I gave a girl a ring.
Wow. First gift opens with a ring.
Fortunately,
Awfully presumptuous.
this is D&D, and a ring doesn't mean the same thing in D&D as it does to us, and it
Yep.
sure as shit doesn't mean the same thing in Drow culture.
Right.
So
exactly.
she opens this little gift-wrapped box and sees these two items, pulls them out, inspects them.
I
Are they
will
merely decoration, or...
They do have magical intent, and I'll go into a quick summary of the ring of jumping and the egg of fog. And I understand, you're probably very well equipped, and these are maybe better for your guard, but just want to show that, again, your well-being is important, and if these can be of aid to you as a small token of my interest.
I believe they will be most useful. Thank you.
I would have enjoyed jumping too.
You're a bitch.
It's hurtful.
You're not the love interest. Get out of here.
I could be.
She
Give
seems
me
right, like she
rings,
seems
we'll see.
pleased with your gifts, but it's also right, like you're coming to realize that she is not a emotive person necessarily, right? She puts the ring on to her pinky, right?
Okay.
And pockets the egg of fog, and hands you back the box and the gift wrap scenario,
That's fine.
right?
Yep. I'll throw it in my bag. Whatever. I think we're preparing for our efforts to regain the sanity of that creature you have in containment.
Good. I would prefer to have that storage building serviceable in the future.
That's the intent.
I believe
Ooh,
Driven has
serviceable.
reached out to see if there are volunteers. I believe Zaftal and some of his compatriots are interested. So hopefully that helps.
Is
The
Zaftal the
intent-
shirtless one?
Was Zaftal the shirtless
That's a
one?
weird thing to remember.
The shirtless one?
It is what it
He
is.
likes, don't
Are you talking-
Yeah, I know what I'm about, all right?
Are you talking
He
about?
came at me, so
Are you talking about
I mean,
this shirtless one?
That's driven.
No, that's Driven. Remember, like, he was one of the guys that went out to do the distraction before, and he came back, he's all shirtless, and, like, he was bloody, and, like, he was like...
Oh,
So I imagine him like a Sylvester Stallone type.
Gotcha. No, that would have been Tanamar. Zaftal was with that group, but Tanamar is another brother,
Oh,
basically.
all right, then.
Or I think that was Tanamar.
Thank you.
That doesn't
That
sound like
vest,
Zaftal.
though.
Anyways, Rilna nods to you. Seemingly the scenario concluded and walks back.
So I actually would have explained what the plan was to her as well, just kind of sussing her strategic brain as to what the intent is, and just
Seems like
seeing
a
if there's any
serviceable plan.
bugs. Okay.
Hopefully all goes well.
We'll do what we can.
If not, well, we have alternatives.
Indeed.
Okay.
Good luck.
She walks away. She does not. She notedly does not tell you good luck.
I take a moment to myself to process what the fuck just
What the
happened.
fuck just happened? You just got confronted. Hardcore.
And also
confronted.
confirmed, but still confronted.
Welcome to
Okay.
Rilna Freth. You chose this.
Oh, I did choose this. I mean, if we're going to be stuck in a dungeon for the rest of our lives, might as well do something about it.
Fair. And this was the day that Ezra decided to never go back. All right. I think that's a pretty good place for us to go ahead and take our break. So we will be back in just a few minutes with more Dungeon the Mad Mage. We'll see you then. BRB. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.